on a Monday. Okay, I'll just explain what all that was. That's the starting bit. So it's very, very formal, but the idea of it being a bit drawn out is so that everybody can sort of get on frequency. There's nothing worse when you've got 10 check-ins and they're all over the place, because you don't want to use your RIT all the time. So we send a series of Vs, and that's just to get everybody, you know, like, oh shit, you know, we need to get focused.
It's a bit of a holdover from the old days when the rigs were all over the show, like brown cows.
It is, yeah. Yeah, so you get your VFOs and your Geloso things all going and, you know, whatever. So, and then of course we're telling people what it is, so it's CQ NZNet. And then I put my call sign in, the net controller, and the number, the letters after that, QND, QNZ and QNI, all mean something. QND means get on frequency. So net to this frequency. Sometimes we might shift a wee bit because of QRM. No, I've got that around the wrong way, haven't I? I think QNZ is actually net to frequency.
QND is directed.
That's right. And QNI is please check in. So that's calling for check-ins, in other words. So basically that's like that all the time. So if you hear that, you know the net's about to start. The net controller is calling for check-ins. So the next thing we get, Richard. And I go, shit, there's someone there. I made a mistake then. Now that sounds a bit sort of complicated. But what that is I'm acknowledging 4FZ's just called in, so I've acknowledged him. I've given him a signal report, and I've said hi, and I know him, and I called him Richard. And that's when I made the mistake, because I was going to call him something else. Anyway, so I gave him a signal report. He needs that, because if we're going to have a message transfer and he's only 5 and 2, it's not going to be too crash hot. So he needs to know the report. And I needed to tell him he had a QTC. That was the... So it's actually QTC 1. So that's telling him he's got a message. He's got one come in. Start panicking. You'll have the rest of the net to worry about it till I get to you. So it's really
what happens if it's a 5?
Oh, if it's a 5, you really worry.
Panic's long gone at that point.
Right, so Richard just been told he's got a message stacked up. Oh, hang on, Richard. Oh, sorry, Richard. Yes, carry on. This is what Richard... Well done. Now that's Richard replying, saying, good evening, Grant. We should have put good morning there, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I did think about that.
Yeah, no, we'll amend it for next time. That's, good evening, Grant, you're 599 QRU. So that's telling the net controller that he's receiving me okay, and he doesn't have any traffic. QRU is the most popular thing used on the net. Everybody learns QRU right really quick, very quickly. You always have QRU. That means I'm here, I'm checking in, I don't want to do anything. So there we go. Who else would like to have a go at checking in? Someone else like to have a go at checking in? Come on, Rob. Yeah, come on,
it's not my key, so...
No, you check in. take your time. Give it a whirl.
Keys moving too much. Hang on, I'll get my other hand to hold it.
Brilliant. That's all you do. Thank you, Rob. Well done. Out ahead. Well done.
Yeah.
It's that easy to check in.
Yeah.
So-
I do put DE and a K
Yep.
because I'm old school, got taught by Les Coles that, you know,
Okay. One of the things with the net is short is good. So on the really quick nets, you'll just get, if I was checking in, you'd just get GD. You wouldn't even get the ZL. Or sometimes you'll hear Neil just go ZL. So all it is just, hey, I'm here,
Yeah.
and then you get called in. So that was Rob checking in, so that's good. So I'm going to do a, we won't make too much of a meal of this, but it's just, no. Probably got that wrong too, Rob. I have trouble with your call sign. No,
it's for,
that's better. Okay, so, and that's pretty much the same, exactly the same as what I did for Richard. So it's, hi Rob, you're 599, how's copy? And he will send back what Richard did, which was my signal report, and hopefully he sends QRU to me. Because I don't really like the QTC things coming back as the net controller either. So that goes on till everybody's checked in, and generally on CW, if two people call in at the same time, you can actually hear both at once, generally. Sometimes you can even hear three.
yeah, that's where I might have created a bit of a shambles last night when LDY, what's his name?
Dave.
Dave, I don't remember names very well. But Dave sent me QTC question mark, you see, and I sent nil. And it seemed to create a bit of confusion.
Yep.
I sent nil QTC and
Rob
then...
hadn't learned QRU early enough.
Yeah, I obviously haven't, yeah.
The good thing is that there's nobody worries if you make a boo-boo. Like, everyone kind of works out, you know, you don't know what that means. So all good. No, all good. So we'll move on because time's pressing. So we get all the check-ins, and then as the net controller, at the end of the sort of the first bunch, I'd call CQ again because there's always a straggler, and his name's Paul 1AJY. He's always late, always. So I have to do another CQ. I won't do it all, we'll just sort of abbreviate a bit of this.
Your disparaging remark.
That was meant to be, you know, all welcome. Please check in. So that's the final sort of crack at it. And then what happens is, where are we? Where I'm going to follow my track here. I will then, if I've got some North Island stations on, or someone from Dunedin, and conditions are a bit, you know, a bit up and downy, then I'd then get one of those guys to put out the same call. So what we do is we just transfer the whole net control to another person. And that's really exciting when that other person doesn't know that I'm going to do that in advance.
Actually,
So-
we all sit sweating at night,
Yeah.
waiting to see
I know,
who's going
it's-
to get the call.
it's-
Thank goodness it wasn't me.
It's the most wonderful thing when you're the net controller to have that much power over it. So I'm going to do that to Richard in a minute. I'm going to do it now, actually. So we're going to go... He gets about that much notice. So I've just sent him, Richard, please QNG1. And what that means is, Richard, please call CQ once on my behalf. So Richard would then go, bloody hell, Shit, here we go. So away you go, Richard. Anyone copying that, by the way? You getting it? Yep, yep.
I need to write it. I don't. My problem's retention of it. I can read each character, but then you've got to think back. My memory bank hasn't got enough capacity. It's got too much other shit loaded into it.
That's why the Q codes are always only 3 letters long.
Yeah. But you've still got to remember 3 Q codes back.
Yeah, true.
That's why your pen and paper sorts that. You know.
True. Okay, so Richard just did on my behalf another call to the great unwashed out there.
Yeah.
Please, is there anybody out there?
And what he's really praying for is silence.
Exactly.
At the end of that voice,
It's
not
one
a big pile up, big lump of 4 stations.
It's one of these weird things, you go through, that's quite a big spiel he has to get through. He sends all that and he's just hoping that nobody comes back.
I thought the first round he'd come back and say, sorry, so much static, difficult copy. And when you send it to him again, he says, sorry, propagation ceased, unable to copy.
I'll
There's
tell you
a
what,
Q code for that somewhere.
one of the worst things is, and I read this every night when I go on, because Neil gets me to do one, he's north and I'm south, so I get to do this on a regular basis. And there's a guy in VK called VK3DQ, and his name's Manny, and he's an old ships operator. He does seem really good Morse, but he's always about strength 1. Readability about 3.
So I don't think his antennas to crash hot because there's a couple of other VKs near him and they're much better.
Yeah, but and it's really painful because you've got to acknowledge him, and then you think, God, Manny, don't have a QTC tonight, please. I couldn't cope with it. But anyway, no, he's good, and he's a very regular guy. He comes on all the time. And okay, we'll move along. Okay, we've done that, and did anything happen, Richard? Did you have a nil after that?
So I'll close that off now.
Do you have a nil? Yeah. Oh, good. Thank you, by the way. I'm just thanking him for doing that, and
polite.
Thank God there's no one else to add to the list. Okay, so then at that point there, we sort of we might think, right, we've got a few on. We might have half a dozen on. So I would then run through the list. So I go. What's your course on?
RX.
God, right, I don't know why I have a problem with yours.
I mean, he's only just over the fence from your place too.
I do it every night. I don't got to think about it now. And I'd run through the whole lot, and I'd do it in the order that they checked in. That's most important, because there's a hierarchy. And basically we do that because if anyone's listening and they hear someone on there that they want to talk to afterwards, they know, that's how they know he's there. Like, without a lot of interference and people popping on saying, can I talk to you after? So we run that. That's called a QNS. So when you hear QNS, you'll get a list. So after that's done, we usually do a last call. I won't repeat it all, but I'll do one last call, any laties, any more. We sometimes go any QSP, and that's sent mainly if there's a station that someone else can hear that I can't hear that's popped on. And QSP means relay. That's another one you don't want to hear much of, really. Because if you hear QSP and then another call sign, you're sort of morally obliged to, then try and relay whatever he said. You've got to relay, copy everything down he said and send it to the guy running the net. So we don't get many of those, so that's really good. So we've done that, and there's no more check-ins. Now, remember, Richard got sent a message No, he got sent a notification that you're going to have a message sent to you, didn't you? And he's been waiting, you know, he's been hoping I haven't forgotten. Hey,
No,
Richard.
he's hoping you've forgotten.
He's hoping I haven't forgotten, but I haven't. So I'm now going to send this to him. Oh, I'll start again. Okay, so what I've sent there is Richard, and he immediately stands to attention. Your QTC1 that I told you about earlier, are you ready? QRV means are you ready? Question mark. And he sits there and goes, oh Christ. So Richard replies. So that's him saying, I'm ready. With a question mark after everything, are you ready? I am ready. They are the differences, but we use exactly the same QRV signal. So it just depends in the context how you take it. So he said to me, I'm ready, go ahead. That's what GA was. So I'm just going to give you attempt to give you a brief message. I don't know whether I've got a copy of that brief message. Have you got it there? Hang on. I'm going to send you all the message. So if you want to follow, on the back page of the flyer, the radiogram is the message, and I'll stop part way through and just explain a wee bit about the structure of the message, and then that's about it. You've probably had enough by then, and I've probably had enough by then too. So this is the format that we do them on, and